Integrated natural resource management techniques are wage and employment generating activities. Because of its very nature, it could easily be adopted in the NREGA program. INRM uses both structural measures and vegetative measures. Structural measures are land use techniques that involve construction of earthen or rock structures. Vegetative measures involve creation of vegetative cover and initiating crop cultivation. These measures are organized around 9 basic techniques. They are staggered trench 30-40, field leveling and bunding 5% model, lowland tank SRI, water harvesting tank, gully plugging, tree plantation. A staggered trench is a technique of water conservation suited to the uplands with slopes of 8% or more. Pits are excavated across the slopes of unterraced or unbunded lands to collect runoff water during spells of rain and allow gradual percolation into the soil mass.
This is the ridge line. At the top of the hill we got the ridge line of this watershed project, and the activity starts from this ridge line itself. In the hills the water gets, after rainfall the water gets its flow in much accelerated way, and it goes down taking the soil from the uphills towards the down and giving it to the deposit it to the field, which results in the erosion, in huge erosion, and rocky area is getting exposed. About more than 5% slope is here, so other activity we cannot be done, so staggered trench are being planned here with along with the villagers. And there are about 18,000 small pits are there which aggregated to form this staggered trench. And in as we see from here, the each trench are being dimensioned as a 2 feet width as along with 6 feet length, along with 1.5 feet depth to capture the water. And along this mud, the soil which has been excavated from here is being kept in the downstream itself to check the flow of water. When this each trench is getting filled up with water, the excess water will go by this way and captured in the next trench in the downstream. So all this trench has been designed in a fish scale manner, so that each and every water flow can be checked from here itself.
The dimension of the trench should be as follows. The length is 6 feet and the width of the trench 2 feet. The depth of the trench is 1 feet. The trenches should be located below one another in alternate rows. The excavated soil from the trench should be placed behind the trench to form a bund. There may be trees or grass plantation in the space between the trenches and the bunds. Staggered trenches can be constructed in the month of September when the soil is not too hard. The 30-40 model is a method of soil and water conservation.
Now we are looking at the 30-40 model. So this is a technique which we utilize for arresting runoff and checking the in situ harvesting of water, rainwater. Now, if you see the dimension of why it is called 30-40, it is because you have a pit which is in the depression zone, and from the pit you excavate the earth and then you construct bunds. Now, the bunds are 40 feet across the slope and 30 feet along the slope. So, that is why it is called a 30-40 model, and the basic purpose again is, as I said, to check runoff. So, whatever rain falls on this patch of land, the first thing it would do is that it would come against the bund, and as you can see, we just had a shower a few minutes back and the rainwater has accumulated. So, when there is heavy downpour, the water would then flow into the pit, and once it is in the pit would help it to percolate down. Now, this water would then again come as through the subsurface flow come into the tanks which are constructed in the lowlands. So, this is the entire technology. So, the 30-40 model just addresses the conservation issues, but we also wanted this same patch of land to generate livelihoods for the beneficiaries. So, we thought of two activities. One is the sabai plantations, and as you are seeing, people are already cutting the sabai. So, this they take two crops of sabai, and the primary purpose is used for rope making. So, they use it domestically for their own home use and also for sale in the market. And besides that, we have these young Arjuna plantations. These are 3-year-old plantations. Now, these plantations, Arjuna plant, primarily serve as host plant for tussar silkworm rearing, and by the next year, the farmers, the villagers, they can use this for rearing tussar worm. And the cocoons, each cocoon would fetch 1 rupee in the market.
Divide and mark the selected area into 30 by 40 feet, starting at the ridge line with the help of a rope, lime or measuring tape. Identify the lowest point in each plot. Take a 3 feet pit that is 7 by 7 feet at the top. The pit should have a sloping wall such that the bottom of the pit is 5 by 5 feet. Bund the plot with excavated soil from the pit. The bund across the slope should be 1 feet high with a top width of 1 feet and a bottom width of 2 feet. If the land is fallow, then the work can be started in the month of August. If the plot is under Kharif crop, the work can be started in the month of October or just after harvesting the Kharif crop. A bund is an earthen embankment made across an agricultural plot to conserve soil and moisture.
See, in this kind of terrain, a sizable portion of the land is of this nature, where it is of gentle slope, medium upland kind of land. And over the years, people themselves have converted this into paddy lands through terracing and bunding. So, land leveling is more or less of that nature only, where you have a undulating land, and is basically adoption of cut and fill technology, where the ridge portion of that land is cut off and the where there is a depression that is filled. The purpose for land leveling is in this kind of terrain is to convert a upland into a paddy field. So to have a paddy field, you have to have bunds which holds back the water. So the first thing you do is you cut off the land, the rich portion, and you make the bunds with that earth. What we did was we placed the bunds, and with the additional earth that was cut, we filled up the gaps. So this year itself only the farmer has water and the land, and if he wants he can grow paddy also.